Hello and welcome to How to Make a Labyrinth Part 3 of 5. In this part, we're going to be learning how to make this knob. So in Part 1, we made small arm. In Part 2, we made this big arm. And then now in Part 3, we're going to be making these control knobs right here. So let's jump into it. I'm going to go back to my landing page by clicking this on-shape icon right here. This is what it will look like as you log in. So let's find the project we were working on, which was this one right here. Double click it to get back into it. Just like last time, we're going to be making a new part studio. So I'm going to click this plus sign right here for inserting a new tab and then create part studio. This is probably actually a good time to rename these. You can go back through and then right click your part studio and click rename. And this one I would name small arm, enter. This one, I'm going to right click, rename, big arm. And then this one, I'm going to right click, rename, and we'll go with control knob. There we go. Now let's jump into actually how we make it. Again, I'm going to start on the front plane right here. I'm going to click sketch so I can make a new sketch on this plain sheet of paper as you're thinking of it. Type N, so I'm looking right at it. And this knob is actually only going to be one extrusion, but the sketch is a little bit complex, so we'll try and take it a little bit slow. We're going to make a center point circle with this circle tool up here. Click our origin or our center point right here. And I want this one to be not that big, 35 millimeters in diameter. There we go. Now you could see when we were looking at the knob that it kind of has bumps around the outside. That makes it a little bit easier to hang on to, and it looks a little bit better. How we're going to make that is using another center point circle. So I'm going to make sure that this center point circle is inside of my 35 millimeter diameter circle, and it's vertically directly above my origin right here. I'm going to click and drag, and you can make this again as big as you want because we can always change it. I want this to be 15 millimeters in diameter. There we go. And then I want to make sure my center point is 12 millimeters above my center point right here. So center point of my small circle, 12 millimeters above the center point of my big circle. So I'm going to use my dimension tool again. Click this center point, click this center point, which is also my origin, and drag to the side anywhere you want that doesn't highlight anything else orange. Click. And I want this to be 12. Enter. There we go. Now, as you can see, these bumps are all the way around this control knob. You could go through and make another circle and make another circle and make another circle and do that 8 times. But there's a much easier way to do it. So I'm going to show you that way to do it instead. It's called a pattern. And it's using this right here. But before we pattern, I want to make sure that this lump, this bump, whatever you want to call it, is exactly what I want it to be, the correct dimension with nothing else in the way. So I've already got my dimensions set in place. All I need to do is grab my scissors and drag through the bottom of this. That's all I actually want. I didn't want the bottom of my circle right there. I'm going to hit escape and then drag this out of the way just so I can clearly see what it is. And this arc right here is what we want to pattern. So this is my pattern tool right here. I'm going to click the drop down because this is a linear pattern. So if I clicked that and I used this part right here, it would, in a linear manner, so like in a line, it would pattern that over and over and over again. That's not what I want. So I'm going to hit escape. Instead, I want it to be what's called a circular pattern right here. So I'm going to click that right there. And I'm going to click the thing that I want to pattern. And it's automatically going to pattern this around my origin right here. So you can see it's in a circle around that origin. Now, right now, I only have 3, which is shown right here. But I want 8. So I'm going to double click on that 3x right there, and I'm going to type 8 instead. So 8, enter, and that is a lot more like what I want. Now you can see right next to my mouse here, there's another picture of a mouse, and it has a green check mark on the left button. What that means is as soon as I click the left button and I'm not clicking anything else that's highlighted orange, it's going to confirm that and say, okay, this is what I want. So I'm going to do that, which is like pressing a green check mark. And there we go. Now we have our pattern. Now you can always change it if you need to because we have our 8x right here. So if I double click that, say I only wanted 5. There we go. I can always change that if I need to. I'm going to double click it again and bring it back to 8 because I know that's what I want. And then the last thing I need to do with regard to these bumps out here is get rid of the line, or I guess the arc, that connects both ends. That way we have just a continuous perimeter around the outside with no lines on the inside getting in the way of our extrusion. So I'm going to grab my scissors tool again, my trim tool, and I'm just going to click on every one of these. And you can do the same thing where you drag through them as well. And I'm just going to get rid of all of those. There we go. Last thing I need for this sketch is the square hole in the middle. So you'll recall from part 2 with the big arm that we made, which we have right here, we can take a look at. We have this square right here, and our knob is going to press onto that square, and that way when we turn the knob, this arm will turn right along with it. So I'll go back into my control knob here, and just like last time, I'm going to use my center point rectangle. If that's not showing right here, again, you can just go to this drop down and pick it right here. You don't want corner rectangle. You don't want what's called aligned rectangle. You want center point rectangle. I'm going to click on my origin, and I'm going to make a rectangle. Again, make it as big as you want because you can always change it. This side, I want to be 5.1 millimeters. And then this side, which is highlighted or in a white box right here, I also want to be 5.1 millimeters. There we go. I'm going to hit escape to get out of my center point rectangle tool. And then we can see this is our sketch. I can move any of my dimensions anywhere I want just so that they're a little bit clearer as to what's what here. But that's the sketch. So now that we have our knob sketch right here, I'm going to click my green check mark to say, yes, I'm done with that sketch. And I'm going to go to my extrude tool once again. And I'm going to click, I'm just orbiting right now so you can see what it's going to be doing. I'm going to click on this sketch and extrude it. I do not want that to be 25 millimeters. That's way too thick. Instead, I want it to be 10 millimeters. And then green check mark. That's it. That is your knob. Now, if you don't want it to be kind of bubbly like this, you can always go back into your sketch and change that. How you change a sketch that you already have made is you go hover over it in your design tree right over here, and then you double click it. That's basically taking you back into the sketch. You can see it changes the toolbar. So if I'm not in my sketch, I have this toolbar up here. And then if I go back into my sketch by double clicking, it changes my toolbar back into my sketch tools because I am now back into my sketch and I can now edit it again. You cannot edit your sketch if you're not in your sketch edit mode like this. So maybe I instead want these to be 10. Now it's going to be really angry with me. This is what happens when you have geometry that doesn't technically work. What it's upset about is if I were to make this 10, well, actually, I'll show you. We'll go Control Z. Control Z is how you undo anything that you just did. So what I was just trying to tell it to do that it was not happy about was making a circle that is 10 millimeters in diameter and still that 12 millimeters above my center point. But you can see that will no longer intersect with this 35 millimeter diameter right here. So that's why it was angry with me. Again, you don't have to do any of this. You can just leave it at 15. Totally up to you. Anyway, let's go back into that so I can show you how to change and fix that or make it whatever you want it to be. So I'm going to click on this edge right here, and I don't have to grab the trim tool every time if I don't want to. I can just hit delete instead, and that'll get rid of it. So let's see if 12 works. I'm curious. Yeah. So now you can see that's just barely still an arch. But I can also adjust it by changing how far my center point of my circle, or this arc, is from the center point of the knob. So if I double click this 12 and I made it 15, there we go. You can see now my center point of each of these arcs has moved further out, so I can see more of my arc. So maybe you green check mark, and that's what you want it to look like. Maybe that you think that's a little bit easier to grip onto while you're trying to solve your maze, and that's what you want. You could also make this triangles if you want. You could make it squares. You can make it any shape you want on the outer diameter. I wouldn't recommend going above 40 millimeters in total diameter. So we'll double click back into the sketch so I can show you that. I would not recommend going any larger than 40. So I guess this 12 would not quite work, because if you go too much larger than that, then it will not assemble correctly with how this is currently designed. We can always adjust that, but wouldn't recommend making your design go outside of this 40 millimeter diameter. So I will Control Z to get rid of that circle, green check mark, and there we go. That is how you make a control knob for our labyrinth. Thanks for joining, and in the next part 4, we're going to learn how to make the base for this maze.